morning, everybody. I am just very proud to be here. I'm Muriel Bowser. I like to say I'm mayor of the best city in the world, Washington, D.C. But I know I'm here with a lot of mayors who feel exactly the same way about our hometowns and the cities that we are privileged to lead. I am thrilled to participate in this 8th Experience Puerto Rico and very intrigued by the focus on local government. So I want to thank Mickey Espada. Give Mickey another big round of applause, as well as our host mayor, the governor, and all the mayors assembled. I especially want to acknowledge the National League of Cities and the African American Mayors Association, both groups that Washington, D.C. is very active in, and my sister mayors from St. Louis, Tacoma, and Mount Vernon. Please give them a big round of applause. So you've heard from mayors already about the things that our cities have been through. And I know I got a chance to chat with the mayor of San Juan a little bit earlier, and I've heard all of the remarks as well about how we need to work together. In our case, lobby to the federal government for what we need. Let me tell you a little bit about Washington, D.C. We are also the capital of the United States, 700,000 people. We are on our way from comeback from COVID like most of your cities. But like San Juan and like the other cities in Puerto Rico, we don't have voting members of the United States Congress. So imagine that. The capital of the United States of America without 2 senators and without a voting member of Congress. And what the last several years have demonstrated to us is how important it is, whether it's CARES Act, or whether it's the Inflation Reduction Act, or whether it's the Farm Bill, it's important to have 2 senators and a voting member of Congress, isn't it? Because that is what helps us get it done. And so that is why Washington, D.C. is very focused on righting that wrong of our democracy for Washington, D.C., and we'll keep that fight going. We have faced unprecedented challenges that many wouldn't predict. When I first became mayor in 2015, I'll tell you a little story. One of our directors was giving me a tour of the Department of Health. And in it, she showed me this big empty building that was the Emergency Command Center. And I remember thinking, what a waste of space. That we have this big, beautiful building and this empty room for health emergencies. Little did I know that room would become our headquarters for how we fought COVID and saved lives. Of course, now that was 3 years ago that our cities changed. And now our fight for mayors, our jobs as mayors are different. We're now, many of us, we were in D.C. having a very robust and growing economy. And now as city leaders, we're faced with how we deal with a changing real estate market, how we house more people, how we get more people back to work, how we ensure that the issues of climate change and inequality remain top issues on our agenda. We're also facing, in some cases, surges in crime and educational loss, things that were going in the right direction that now we're very focused on how to get back there. So in Washington, D.C., like in many areas around the globe, we knew that from inflation to what our small businesses, restaurants, and retailers were dealing with would require the government to get involved in ways that we never had before. From creating what we called emergency bridge funds that literally gave money to our small businesses. From allowing streeteries in different ways for our entertainment businesses to come back, we did it. From actually acting as a promoter to work with the entertainment industry to bring talent to Washington, D.C., to get more people on the street. It also required local government to be a leader. I was proud that in Washington, D.C., my government of 37,000 people went back to the office before any major employer in our region. It has forced us to rethink the future of work, as we should. We learned things in the pandemic. Some of them were good, some of them were not so great. But it definitely allows us to have more creativity in how we deliver services to Washingtonians. I got some information about how our school district, for example, is coming back. And in the Metro Washington region, the population of school children in our public school system is back to the numbers it was before the pandemic. This is one of the first signs that people are on their way back to cities. We also are learning from what telework means for our city. We have advocated forcefully for private employers in the federal government to have most of their employees in the office most of the time. And we know that's not only good for Washington, but it's also fantastic for American productivity. We've also learned that we don't have to be scared to say we're an in-person employer, because we're a great employer.